Hello there, and welcome back to yet another podcast episode from LiseLight. My name is Lisa. I'm a Copenhagen knitter based in Denmark, and I'm coming to you today with a regular podcast episode where I want to talk about everything that I've been working on, what my plans are, and so forth. I'll start with what I'm wearing. I actually wanted to wear the sweater that I am going to show you as a finished object, but it was way too hot today. So we have these beautiful warm days. Well, it's warm in the sun. If you're outside of the sun, it's not that warm. So then I could wear it if I went outside for a walk. But inside, it's definitely too warm today. But so what I'm wearing is the Agave t-shirt that I knit last year, I think. Maybe it's even, yeah, it's a year and a half ago. No, it was last year. um I've talked about it in my everything I knit in 2024 episode. I can link that if you want to see it. I love the pattern. I love the look of it. I definitely would want to do this in a different yarn. I used a dropped yarn that I'm not crazy about. It's almost like the yarn is, I don't know if the right word is falling apart, but it gets ripped a little bit just from using it. I'm not abusing this t-shirt, so I think it doesn't hold up as well as I could have hoped for. I think it's a cotton merino from Drops that I use for it, but I can't remember anymore. But I think definitely a linen yarn would have made this just an even more beautiful garment, because it is really pretty. So I'm considering doing that at some point. But I'm wearing that because it's so airy and nice, and I thought that was more appropriate than me sweating away in this episode.
Hi there, editing Lisa here. I realized that I forgot to record the Danish word and expression of the day, so I thought I would just pop that in here. Actually, I'm wearing my final rainy day tee. I'll talk more about the final sweater in my next podcast episode. Anyways, the Danish word and expression of the day, I thought it was kind of fun to do the wool brand that I've seen a lot of you guys are using. I haven't actually tried the yarn myself, but when I started looking into this company, it was almost like going down a rabbit hole. Now I want to go visit the store. It's not close by me. It's sort of in the middle of Denmark, you could say. If you may not be familiar with Danish geography, but it's on an island, a bigger island that you pass through when you go from Copenhagen to the main peninsula of Denmark, which is called Jutland. So it's not on the way there. You need to go a little further away from the road that goes all the way through that island. But it would be like maybe an hour and a half drive from me. So I definitely want to see if I can make a trip to go there. They have sheep and it's a family business, and it just seems like a really cool place. Anyways, the name is definitely, we're into a treat today with a tongue twister. Because the name of the place is Hjelholt, and Hjelholt is a family name. And actually the H in front is silent. You can't hear that. And I mean, it's one of those, because it's a name, there probably could be more ways of pronouncing it. So even in Danish, I had to sort of pause and look at the word. And to my best knowledge, I would say Hjelholt. So the J is Hjelholt. And then there's the apostrophe and the S, because the next word means wool spinnery, and that is pronounced uld. That's ULD, and this is where Danish is awful, because we have three letters, ULD, and I just say uld. You don't really hear the D. It's very, very softly there, but it's almost silent. And then the last part of the word is the spinnery, so spinnery. So not that far away from what you would say in English, actually. But when you say the whole name, it's Hjelholts Uldspinderi. And I totally get why. I mean, it doesn't even sound like a real word when you say it like that. So Hjelholts Uldspinderi. That's the way you pronounce it. But again, like always, don't even stress about it. And then just for kicks, I realized one of the yarns is called håndverksgarn. And what that means is håndverk, the first part of that letter. The last GARN, you probably have figured that out. That's yarn, garn. So that's, let's just put that aside. And then håndverk, that means something, it's directly translated as something you make by hand. It can be knitting, it can be crocheting, but it could also be pottery. It could be all kinds of stuff that you do by hand. So crafts of any kind. So it's like the art of crafting, you could say. And so they called it håndverksgarn. So the first one, hunt, means hand, hunt, and again the D is kind of silent. Vax, and that's the because the funny A is AE combined together. It's a letter in the Danish alphabet, and the first one, the A with the dot over it, that's another letter that we have in our alphabet. So the word in itself is håndverksgarn. So anyways, that was a bit of a twist, but again, it sounds like a really, really cool company. It's owned by the family. It has been in their family for ages. I think it dated all the way back to 1800 something. And it just seems like a really, really cool place. So I definitely want to go visit and see if I can see the sheep. That would be kind of fun. They talk about on their website, they have dogs also to take care of or to look after the sheep and all the stuff. So it just seems like a really, really cool place with a lot of great values. They talked about how they believe in old-fashioned values, like you don't just buy new all the time. They have old machinery at the factory where they do the yarn. They spin the yarn because they believe in taking care of the stuff so you can use it forever, mending your stuff when it's broken instead of just buying new stuff. And I just love that. I think it's part of the values that I try to live by. So I got really interested and intrigued. But again, I haven't tried their yarn, but I'm definitely going to look more into what they have to offer because I thought this was really, really cool. So anyways, back to the regular show.
So excited to show you my first finished object, and that is this one. I'll pop in of a little video of me wearing it because again it was way too hot to wear it now. I'll just show you up close. I've shown you before, but I'm still, I mean, I am so in love with this effect that the yarn gave me. I used the combination. I've talked about this extensively, but I used this color, which is wool, 100% lamb's wool, fingering weight, and then I combined it with, this was the color I originally bought. So first of all, I bought this and thought it was, I wasn't paying attention, to be honest. I bought it online. I thought that this was a DK weight. It wasn't. And then I bought this color and I got all depressed when I looked at these two together. It's not that bad, but I think because we were kind of moving toward longer, brighter days, I felt like this color together was not, it was not it. And then I bought this very green. I would almost call it an apple green. I think they call it avocado green mohair from the same place. And the combination of these three was just pure magic because what it does is it's definitely, I mean, these two, because that's a majority, are in a way dominating it, but the pops of green that shows through the fabric is just beautiful, and the drape is wonderful because it's warm but it's still very light. It's definitely a great sweater. And so the details on this is that it's maybe I forgot to say it's the coffee run sweater by Kuta Vakika, and it's constructed in the way that you wait a minute, do you start, yeah, you start with the neckline and then you go out from that and you do the twisted rib, and then you continue the twisted rib detail. And I know this is a silly little thing, but you probably know what I'm talking about. the satisfaction of something continuing down into another line. I don't know. It just does something. It's pretty cool. And then the same thing on the back. And then the two, the detail from the raglan meets up under the arms in like a broad piece that goes all the way down to the ribbing in the bottom. That's also seamlessly goes into the twisted rib that we have down here. And then and this was, I think I was at this point last time I did my podcast, because I was doing the Italian bind off with all three strands. And let me tell you, that was just the biggest nightmare. I was struggling. It looks okay now after after I blocked it. Thank God, because redoing it was not an option. I think I would have had to cut it out basically in order to get it to undo it, because of the two strands of mohair. And I was asking in my last video, I didn't even think of it when I did it, but would it be possible just to do the bind off with just a single strand like this guy, and then just like tie these ends off in the beginning? And a lot of you said, yeah, of course, go for it. And I thought to myself, well, I'm going to try it, because that would be a little more, little easier to undo if it doesn't work out. So that's what I aim to do. And for modifications, well, I mean, and I don't even know how this happened. It's definitely loose, and also oversized is something that I need to start working on. I tend to go to do my garments a little bit oversized all the time, which has its merits. For this one, it's great because it is sort of a loose fitting sweater. It's not supposed to be tight or anything like that. But I definitely, and I think I did meet gauge on this one. I'm pretty sure I did. But anyways, what happened was when I started on the sleeves, I could not for the life of me figure out how I was off some stitches. And I was like, how did that happen? Apparently, I should have done two more increases on the sleeve side, and I don't understand how this happened. But anyways, it worked out that it didn't matter, because the armholes are definitely deep. And I think it's something, I think it's a comment I've heard about a lot of Kutarakika's patterns, that it's, I think some of them are quite deep in the armhole. So maybe it worked out to my favor, because I definitely don't need more width there, I feel like. And then what I did was, I think there was one single increase of the sleeves. I think there's only one. And then what you're supposed to do is actually at the cuff, you're actually supposed to do some increases so it cinches in more. And I think my daughters are rubbing off on me, because I think I told you in some of the other videos that the current fashion in Denmark among the very young people is that you cannot have cuffs that cinches in. They just really dislike that. And it's not that I'm against it, but I kind of love that little bit of a slouchy look. I don't. If you saw my last episode, I'll link it. I finished my the sweater, the Wednesday sweater that I modified for my daughter, and it has those long slouchy sleeves. And I can just tell you, she's basically wearing that sweater almost every day. I mean, it's the biggest hit, so it makes me so happy. You probably know the feeling when you knit to other people, for other people, when they wear it all the time. That's just the greatest thing ever. I mean, I love that. So anyways, what I did not increase or decrease at all at the sleeves. I didn't reduce the stitch count. I just shifted to the smaller needle size. I think you almost go down like 2 needle sizes to do the ribbing, which I kind of like, because it makes it look very neat. And here I did the bind off with just one strand of the wool, and oh my god, it looked so much better. It was just overall just a better idea. So I love that, and it turned out really great. And it's so funny because I've had so many reservations about this project. I wanted to do it because I love the look of it. And I was a little bit afraid that it was going to be a sweater that would be stuck in my closet and only brought out once in a while. But first of all, my daughter is eyeing it up and considering stealing it once in a while, and that's also a good sign. And then just because now it's too hot to wear it, basically. But oh my goodness, I saw myself reaching for it every day because it's so nice to wear. I wore it. I've worn it with jeans. I've worn it with just a basic, I have this gray dress, like a fitted dress that has a zipper in the back. It's like a little bit of a business style dress, and I wore that with my Doc Martens, like long boots, and then this sweater on top. That juxtaposition of business and casual and a little twist of something that's not cute and feminine. I love that look. And it just looks really, really good. So, I mean, I can't tell you how happy I am about this. It's just amazing. So I ended up using, this is how much I have. I had five skeins of, so 225 grams of of this one. I used of course, the exact same amount of this, but I had 10 skeins of this, and I had five of these, and this just fit perfectly. I was getting a little, I hate when I think I'm running out of yarn. I really don't like that feeling. But then again, I don't like having a lot of stuff left over because this is kind of silly because what am I going to use this little piece for? So, but anyways, now I have it because it's a great color. So at least I can maybe remember finding. And I mean, this was just a good lesson for me how one single color can actually make this turn into something really, really cool and interesting. So very happy about that. That leaves me with, I think I have actually six skeins of this left. So I have quite a lot. And then I have five skeins of these. And again, I've been complaining about this color. What I think I will do, I think I will put this in my stash and save it for the fall. Because as I know myself, when it gets into fall, I might love this combination again and think, oh, that could be kind of cool. And I'm thinking maybe a vest of some kind with some cabling on it with these two together could be kind of fun. I don't think I want to do a whole sweater, but I think something like that could be kind of cool. So who knows? In the fall, maybe that will be the big hit. So we'll see about that. Cool. I'll just have a little sip of my coffee. Okay, the next it is a work in progress, but it's closer to being finished. I was being optimistic, hoping it would be finished today, but that was definitely not happening. I'll pop in a photo of me wearing it because it's a little bit in the state that it is in now. This is a rainy day tee by Sari Nordlund. And I'm doing it in this lamb's wool, DK weight lamb's wool. So yeah, I think it's going to turn out good. I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to blocking it because it is, you know how it is when you do cabling and stuff. Everything looks a little bit messy before you block it, but it has potential. I was working on the body yesterday, did the Italian bind off down here, so that's finished. And I mean, this piece of the body, I felt like that took 200 years to do. I don't know what it is because I kind of like doing a stockinette, and I feel like I knit a lot on it yesterday because I did want to finish that up for today. And I mean, my hands hurt today. I mean, I don't know what it was. So anyways, I know the sleeve will be fairly fast because it's pretty easy to do. So there isn't much to it. The stitch definition doesn't look great right now, but I know from my cardigan that at the moment I block it and just leave it, it'll be much better. So I'm not too worried about that. But it does definitely look messy. And I'm actually a pretty, what do you call that? Consistent knitter. I usually have pretty nice stitch definition when I knit, and especially in stockinette, and this definitely looks a little bit messy. Oh my god, I have a mistake here. I can see that. Oh no. I oh god. Oh well, anyways, good thing I caught it. There's definitely something going on here at the ribbing where I it looks like I what did I do? That's a really good question. It's kind of like I lost a stitch or something. I don't know. I need to go back and fix that because that's definitely not looking good. Anyways, you know how you can get all distracted when you see something like this. I definitely need to go fix whatever that is. Anyways, the thing about this is I did the size 5, which is I've done a couple of weird things with this thing because as I remember it, I feel like I did a gauge swatch. I did a gauge swatch, and I'm pretty sure in my mind I think I did the gauge swatch with the needles that she recommends, which is 3.5 millimeter, and then 3 for the ribbing. But I knit this whole thing in 3.5, at least for the ribbing down here and on the sleeves. I might have done 3 here, but I've done the whole body in 4, and I don't know why I did that. Do you ever do that? Is that just me? I mean, I think sometimes I get a little bit too confident, and I feel like I read the instructions for that. I know what I'm supposed to do. I follow the pattern pretty well, but how could I miss something quite important like that? Anyways, it's a little more oversized than probably intended. And I think I could definitely have sized down if I wanted the more tighter look. I'm not mad about this because it is this type of yarn that you probably don't want too tight fitting on your body. That would have been great if it was a merino or cotton merino, something like that. But this is pure wool, and I'm not sensitive to it, but I think it could get a little uncomfortable if it's too tight. So it's definitely not as tight as you see on the photos. And size wise, I do usually fall in between the large, extra large. But it's something I want to work on because I think actually this is a really nice pattern. I was talking to you last time about how I felt it was confusing that she doesn't just go with continuous rows when she talks about the increases you're supposed to do and the pattern and so forth. You know, where it goes like do row 1 to 7, and then you start over with now it's row 1 again, 2, 3, 4, 5. It made it difficult to keep track of the pattern, and I think I did mess up a little bit. Nobody will notice. That's a cool thing. I don't think you can see it at all. If it's off, it's not by a lot, and maybe actually I did manage to it. Actually, now that I look at it, it doesn't look like there are any flaws there. So who knows? Maybe it worked out. I did my best, but I thought that was a little bit confusing. I would have loved to just be continuous, rows down. And I don't know if you guys do this, but what I do, this is not a very scientific method. But when I know that for example, when you get to like a t-shirt like this, you have more increases on the body side of the raglan and less on the sleeve. And what I do is for in order for me to keep track of that, I definitely count all the rows with my little I have this little thing you put on your finger, you know, where you click, and then I simply write on a piece of paper. I write all the rows, and then I put a circle around or some other little symbol on the rows where I'm supposed to do increases on both sides of the raglan or however that works out. And I do the same thing if I'm working on other stuff. I'm working on the cumulus tee. I do the same thing where I just write it down on a piece of paper and then put little marks on so I know at which rows I'm supposed to do this or that, because then I can just reference when I get to my the row I'm supposed to work on. I can just glance at my notes. It's just very straightforward, but that's the way I try to keep track of it. Because if I have to stop every time and say, "Oh, it's every fourth row, and now I'm on row this and that," so what does that mean? There's no need to make it more complicated. So that's what I do. but I think I'll be happy with it again now, just because it's a little bit warm these days. I know the weather in Denmark, it might be freaking cold in a couple of days again. And then I think I'll love this because it's got short sleeves. It would suit me better if I had a little more, if I was a little more tan maybe, but I think it's definitely going to be one of those sweaters that or t-shirts, whatever you would call this, um, that I'm going to use a lot in the fall and in the spring, and also on winter days where I want to layer with. It's kind of cold, but I want to layer with a blazer or something like that. I think this will be pretty good for that. So pretty happy with how that's coming along. Just need to do the sleeve, and then that's going to be finished. Yep. And then next project is that was also an acquisition, you could say. I had actually told myself that I didn't need to buy a lot of stuff, but I got this offer on this yarn, this silk mohair, in this beautiful dusty rose color. It's so soft. It's silk mohair. It's what I use for my other Cumulus sweater or blouse, I think she calls it, this one. But in on this one, I did the oversized thing. I did 3 strands instead of the 2 that she recommends on this one. Look at how pretty it is. I used 2 strands of a cream color and 1 strand of a like light brown color that I had left over, and I love it. But what happened with this guy is the V-neck was perfect when I just did it. I could wear it without anything, just with a bra under it. I can definitely not do that without being scandalous now, because it definitely grew. Probably first of all because I also went up a needle size with this. Again, I'm freestyling a little too much sometimes, and it made this pretty oversized, which is also kind of cool. I still love it, but it's definitely not something I can just throw on and use without having other stuff under it, because it's all over the place. I think the V goes all the way down to like here now, and it didn't when I finished it. It was all the way up here, so it's definitely, it may be better when I wash it, but I don't want to have to wash this every time I want to wear it. I mean, that's ridiculous. So this is just going to be a sweater that I use with other stuff, something under it, because otherwise that's not going to work out. So what I wanted was actually a very light one, and this one isn't see-through the same way, because it's, of course, it is a little bit in this type of fabric, but it's definitely, because of the color and stuff, it's definitely better. And I made an effort this time, stay with the needle size, do the swatch, and it's perfect. I'm actually just using the 2 strands, and then I went down to a size large instead of the extra large, because I did want something that's not as oversized as the other one. So I started this, and it's so pretty and light and fluffy and airy that it just makes me happy. This is like a little cloud I'm working on. So that this is going to be my just regular stockinette project when I'm done with this. I'm over this. You can probably feel that also. I just want to get this done. Want to get it out of my whip situation, and then just go on to other stuff. So this was a little bit of a luxury thing. I got a good deal on it, but it's definitely not. You know how it is when you do really nice quality mohair, and it's that's the only thing you use. It is going to turn into a little bit of a more expensive project, but I kind of felt like this was a little splurge thing for myself for the spring, because I haven't bought any yarn, more or less, I think, for months. And I'm not going to. I think for a while, I'm going to see if I can work my way through what I have. For it could be that I need to buy a little bit for maybe a project for my daughter, but I don't know yet. So I'm definitely trying to be mindful of still using all my stuff, but I mostly have like wool in my stash. But I do have some leftover, what's it called? Sandnes yarn Lina, from a top that I unraveled from last year. some green and some cream. And I'm gonna definitely find that, find that in my stash and see how that could turn into some kind of summer top, maybe two tops, because it was double in the top was made in double Senes yarn lina, which made it very thick, and it wasn't a practical. The fit was not right, and it was beautiful, but it wasn't the right top for me. So I unraveled the whole thing, and I'm definitely going to try to do something. But that's probably the biggest quantity of summer yarn that I have. So I might have to go out and invest, but I don't want to do it before we get further into the spring, and I'm sort of done with the projects I'm working on at the moment. So this was like part acquisition, part work in progress. I can just show you quickly. There's not much to report on, but my beautiful socks, they'll go so beautifully with the green coffee run tee sweater. This is the first final sock, and then on the next one, I brought it with me on the train the other day, and it got us to this point. So I'm basically only needing like this much and the toe, and then this pair of socks will be finished. So that's kind of cool. So definitely looking forward to that. I love my homemade socks. They're actually my favorites now. And since I figured out how to do the shadow wrap heel, even though I feel like I have a high, what do you call it, instep? Is that what you call it? No, it's called something else. I don't know. Where the gusset usually is, that area of the foot is kind of wide on me. Usually that gives me trouble with shoes that are too tight around that area. But for some reason, the shadow wrap heel just, it fits my heel better. So I'm so happy with that because I think it's kind of fun to do. It's you save the hassle of picking up stitches like you do on a slip stitch heel with a heel flap gusset. So not that I'm opposed to that because that's also kind of fun and okay to do, but it was just interesting to see that this kind of heel seems to work well for me. And I think that's the recipe for socks. You've got to find exactly what works for you and then just go with that however you feel like. So pretty happy with that. And then lastly, my, where did that go? Let me see here. My project, I did a video, I'll link it, where I went through a whole bunch of sweaters that are DK weight, but airy and with some lace and different things, because I was on the hunt for something to use this dark brown. It's chocolate brown. Look at how beautiful of a color it is. It's wool, 100% wool, and I've done the Eva cardigan that I love to death. It's just I use it so much, and I have so much left of this. I have at least this is 100 grams, and I have more than I have at least 500 grams. Maybe that's what I have. I don't think I have more than that, but that's more than enough for a sweater. I think I used for this one, I'm gonna use a little less than 300 grams in total for this. So 500 is definitely gonna be able to get me to a whole sweater and more. And I don't, I my requirements were that I was actually going to use this together with a lighter brown mohair, and I just felt like I don't need any more of those heavy type sweaters, the really warm ones. I might do more in the fall, but that's not what I need right now. And I could do another cardigan, but I don't want to do something that looks too much like the Eva cardigan just because it's the same color. And so what I started looking for was beautiful lace patterns. And the qualification of this sweater is it needs to be not so see-through that I have to wear a whole bunch of stuff underneath it, but not so heavy that it turns into this huge, like heavy sweater. And so I did a roundup video with where I go through a bunch of really beautiful patterns. I found a lot of great stuff and share the bundle. So I'll definitely link the video if you're interested in seeing that. And I found a pattern. Look, you guys, I'll put it on the screen. And I could see in the comments from my video that a lot of you were excited too. It's a pattern. It's a spring sweater, and it's part of a little series. There's a spring cardigan, which is really cute as well. And then there's also a pair of socks that I fell in love with, so I might have to do them as well. Probably not in this yarn because it's 100% wool, but still in some, I don't know, cream color or whatever. That would be so cool. But anyways, the spring sweater was just perfect because it has not a too tight of a neck like the one. A lot of saris patterns have this. She loves this construction, and I get it. It looks good, but it's also when it's wool, it's very like it turns it into a more wintry type garment. And I know you can work with the construction of that, but I was looking for something where I didn't have to like modify too much on the technical side of the pattern, but just sort of go with the flow. And this type of pattern, also because I'm yearning for something that's a little more involved. I've done so much stockinette lately. Sweater for my daughter, the rainy, the coffee run sweater is mostly stockinette. This is mostly stockinette, and then I'm working on this stockinette. I really need something, and I don't want to do a lot of cabling at the moment because I think that's not what I'm looking for right now. So I was excited, to say the least, to put it mildly, when I found this pattern. And I'm definitely, I want to finish this first. I don't want to have this sitting around laughing at me. So I need to finish that first and fix my mistake, whatever I did there, and then I'm gonna start on the spring sweater. And somebody suggested that I do a project vlog for it, a video vlog. Well, that is what a vlog is. Sorry, on my progress on knitting that sweater. I haven't tried that before. I will attempt to do that. We'll see if I succeed in it, so that you can follow my progress. If any of you guys, it's a pattern that came out in February, so I could see there aren't that many projects yet. Somebody mentioned in the comment on my last video that they have done other patterns from the same designer, and they loved it. It was clear and easy to follow, so I feel confident that this is going to be a cool project. So if anybody else is knitting it, let me know. It could be fun to keep each other updated on the progress. So I haven't been part of a knit along, or so I don't even know how that works. And so I haven't looked into whether that's a good idea to do that. But let me know in the comments if any of you are as excited as I am of the spring sweater. But that's, I'm going to cast on in probably within the next week, because I may finish this today. Maybe I'll try to give my hands a little bit of a rest, because I don't know what happened, but it's like all my fingers hurt, like probably from knitting too much. So I might just go easy on myself today, as because I don't want to get any like permanent soreness from knitting. That would be bad, but we'll see. So yeah, I'm very excited about that project. I know that the lace detail might drown a little bit when the color is this dark, but then on the other hand, I have this vision of it being so cool and interesting to look at, because it's light and airy, and still there's stuff going on. And then I really love this dark brown color, so I feel like it's going to work out great. So very excited about that project. So let me know what you think. And yeah, so I think that's I'm looking around. I think that's my update for this podcast. As always, if you want to join the fun on this channel, please subscribe. It helps me out a lot. And also all the beautiful comments you leave me. I love it. So many great suggestions, and I love to follow along on what you guys are working on. Let me know if, and also all the great advice that you can give me. When I asked about the bind off struggle I had last time, it was just great to hear all these great suggestions, because it really helped me out. So I love that. Thank you for that. And with that said, I think I will go out and enjoy yet another summerly, it's not summer, but a beautiful sunny day at least. outside on my balcony, and just enjoy that it's Sunday here, and hope that you have a wonderful day wherever you're at. And then I'll see you along in my next video. Take care.